Okay, I guess it started recording. Let's see, we are working on my air compressor. And I guess the real specs are around the side there. This is basically what it is. It's a Husky. It's Home Depot. Wife bought it for me years ago. Okay, now there's an air cleaner mod. That's an AMSOIL motorcycle air filter. Which I, made a custom mount for it basically to put it on there just so it would breathe better. This thing can only pump as much air as it can suck in. So what I'm working on here is I fired it up today, and when I heard it, it didn't sound right. So I shut it back off. Now this is out in my shed. So, I can usually hear it from inside the shop, but it's not real loud. It's certainly not obnoxious. At least not to me. Neighbors might think different, but usually the shed doors are closed anyway. So the problem I was having was I came out here and fired it up and looked, and one, I was low on oil. There's the thing there. I did add some oil in. I'll show you that here in a second when I get back on the tripod, but this is basically what it turned out to be was that this wheel quit spinning, the compressor pulley, and this. So here's my culprit. The belt's still in pretty decent shape, still got a lot of life in it, so rather than waste my time running out and buying a new one, I'm going to tension it. So it's a pain in the butt getting the cover off. Okay, there's only one screw in the front side that screws in here. Okay, I'll try to remember to show that again too. But these where it snaps around the outside here, man, those little suckers there did not want to pop out. That screw holds this back plate on. There's another one over here, and there's one up here. Okay, I'm getting ready to take. Oh, I didn't even see that one. I'm getting ready to take this cover off, and I thought, this is something completely different. I'm going to go ahead and fire up the camera and record it. Whether I share it or not, it's a whole nother story. We'll see. Oil can's got a little dead spider sitting on it. Spider skin, if you can even see that. Anyway, this is what I'm running in it, okay? And everybody's always like this, get their head tilted back, and that's because a lot of the guys I watch and you watch and that stuff are all old enough wearing progressives or bifocals. You gotta, in order to see the screen, you gotta tilt your head back. Anyway, so there it is, AMSOIL compressor oil. Okay, and you can see, I think, let's see here, you can see it's still nice and viscous. I'm not positive the temperature, it's definitely below freezing. It's down in the mid-20s, something like that. Which is here in Portland, Oregon. There's some snow from yesterday down on the ground. We don't get a lot of that, luckily. Anyway, so there's the one screw on the front here, and these snaps that go around the outside here. Ah, man, those were a nightmare to pop off, and by nightmare I mean just annoying, not really a nightmare. Okay, so here's the problem. That's loose. So that's probably been cutting down my compressor. If it's that loose when it's cold, think of how loose it gets when it gets warm. So that's been cutting down my compressor performance a good bit. So you might be able to hear it slip. In fact, you can see it slip. So I'm going to go in and unplug this thing. Normally I'd trust the switch, but, hey, for safety's sake, I don't want to lose any fingers. And then, as I'm standing out here in the cold, I'm thinking, man, am I glad I didn't take my beard off here in the last couple days. Gotta have a little protection. Hopefully the camera won't mind being outside in the cold as much as I do. Okay. Oh, it definitely wants you to take the pulley off. This is too thick to fit up behind here. Okay, there's a bar across here too, so it expects you to take both pulleys off. What a pain in the butt. Well, they're not captured bolts underneath, which is kind of a pain in the butt too. So I'm gonna go get a couple wrenches, and if anything, it might make getting the two on this side easier. A proper belt tensioner would have a V-block here, and a turnbuckle in there that you could push it with. I don't think I got anything that'll do that. I'm gonna make a quick check. I didn't have any turnbuckle style or anything like that. There's no real place on there to pry against anything to get the motor shoved over. Okay, so what I was thinking about, we'll see if this works. I cut a piece of plywood, and I'm hoping to just basically sneak it in there and pull down. And I can see that in doing that, it is pushing the motor away. That's already tighter. I'm going to go tweak the length just a little bit and see if that'll help. I might have just been able to go buy a new belt and get it to slip on there, but it probably would have been pretty tight. So I cut a bit of a notch here. I got some clearance there so that I'm not fighting with the belt so much up here. And then I cut that off. I didn't know if I needed to or not, but just to help get it in there a little bit. So, okay, so that fits in there pretty nice. I don't want to make it too darn tight. I don't want to make it too darn tight because I don't want it to, start pulling on the bearings too hard and stuff like that. That seems pretty good. Let me my metal stash out here, so I got about 1,000 hammers. I kind of like that. We'll see how it stands up. Now, something to keep in mind too is I also need to keep that motor, square like this. So basically, I've just shoved that motor in and probably only twisted it like this. So I need to make sure that I keep that pulley straight. I'll probably have to go get another straight edge to help with that, which I should have a handful of those out here. Okay, yeah. As I hold it flat against here, I'm a good 1/4 inch off the edge of the belt there. Okay, so I'm definitely going to want to tweak that motor over a little bit. Now with it pivoting here on this, that's going to make it even longer because it's basically going to pivot from this point right here, and as it goes back, that side of the pulley is going to push back farther and make this even tighter. So I'm going to go just shave a little bit off of this, I think, because I'm afraid I'm going to get it too tight. I don't think I have to push it much. That's actually good right there. Well, it dawned on me that I got an 1/8 of an inch thickness of metal here, so that 1/4 inch really wasn't that much. It was actually just an 1/8 of an inch, and so now it looks like they're pretty darn parallel. And this this isn't half thou machining or anything. This is this is a flexible belt and a couple of V pulleys. So let's see if I can tighten those down without it walking around. We'll take the block out and see how it works. Okay, so this is the eyeball shot. I'm looking at it. I don't want to see bends right here. I don't want to see it coming off here and the belt veering off one way or the other greatly. Okay, shouldn't be that much room in that adjustment for that to happen. There's slots, but they're not real sloppy side to side. And you can see all the way up. You can see the flange on the other pulley here. So this is all I'm doing. I'm taking yeah, that's fairly straight. And I'm just putting it up against that and holding it here. Okay. So hopefully there's enough light there you can see that without any problem. All right, anyway, let's tighten it down. And you know, those bolts weren't exactly tight to start with, so there's a chance the belt didn't stretch so much that the motor finally moved. Okay. Now, before I tighten the other two down, we're going to double check to make sure I didn't shift anything. I like it. I like it. That's one of the advantages with doing the tension at the pulley. If you had the proper one with the saddles and everything like that, you could tighten it up, and then you could move the motor back and forth while you tighten it up, that kind of stuff, and get all the alignment perfect and everything. If you only try to pry it over at the motor, well, the belt becomes the leverage point. You know, and once it becomes a leverage point, then the motor is really going to start doing this. And then you're really going to start having an issue trying to align it. Because if you get it locked down like this, and you try to get it back straight, it's going to make the belt too tight, and vice versa. Either way, it's out of track. So that worked pretty slick. Let's tighten up the other ones. Okay, nice. I think I'll just leave that, you know, right here with the... Okay. Oh, man. The nitrile gloves definitely make it nicer in the cold weather. They're not perfect by far, but you get the dexterity and you still don't have to worry about sticking to the damn metal. I think there's enough oil residue all over all this that it really wouldn't be much of an issue anyway. Alright. Kind of like that. Maybe a hair on the snug side, but you know, it's pretty dang cold. Okay, that's all the farther that one goes in. It's pretty darn cold, and this will get pretty warm. Okay, in fact, I haven't drained the water out of it in a while. I think there's probably a nice chunk of ice in the bottom. Anyway, I'm gonna go plug it back in. We'll fire it up and see how it runs now. And then later when it warms up, or on a warmer day next week, you know, it's raining, it's above freezing, I'll come out and drain that. Alright, first startup. Oh, one other note on that compressor oil. Okay, this is synthetic. You saw what it was. I did run the compressor for a certain amount of time. I don't remember. I did run it for a break-in period with the oil that came with it that wasn't synthetic. So anyway, here we go. Let's fire it up. Okay, it's charging up. I don't hear any leaks or anything like that. I have the pop-off valve over here. I popped that to bleed the pressure down earlier. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't still leaking. Anyway, just as FYI, this tube right here gets extremely hot. Okay, that's the high pressure air going into the tank. Okay, so you don't want to touch it while it's running. I mean, it's only been running it's only been running barely a minute, and it's almost too hot to touch. Anyway, what I was going to say was, if you want to put in a cooler, okay, you're going to come out of here, you're going to run it into a whole bunch of loops of copper tubing, you know, the fan blowing on it, anything like that, and then run it back down in here. Other guys I've heard of using air conditioning condensers. Check into that. I have no clue if they'll hold the pressure or anything like that. But the cooler you can get this air, the more it will condensate in the tank and drain out the bottom. The less that will make it into the airline and into your water trap in the shop. Now, the other thing I have here too is, if you see this, okay, I've got it coming out. I can tap off and put another air line on the other side there for outdoor work and that stuff. But I have a 50-footer hanging there, okay, and then it connects and goes to another 50-footer. Now, the whole reason for it, and then it goes out the side and then into the shop and that stuff. So the whole reason for that is to get the air temp down as much as I can before it goes into the water trap in the shop. Okay, especially Portland isn't high humidity, not like Tampa or anything like that. But we have our days and moments and stuff like that when the humidity does get up there. And the more you run this thing, the hotter it gets, the more moisture it traps, blah, blah, blah. So I do that to get the air cooled down. Okay, now yes, you do lose some CFM, you do lose a little flow rate, stuff like that. Now let's see about snapping this thing back on. Haha, I broke a chunk of plastic off there. Hopefully that won't rattle too much.